All right, everyone, join us in student presentation. Ninive, go ahead and raise your hand. This entire class will be Ninive's presentation. Again, after the presentation, it goes for about 20 minutes. You'll have the opportunity to ask your questions by typing them into the chat. Environment is the most important thing, our warm, encouraging environment. We show that with our congratulations. We show that with our applause. And as I invite Ninive to the stage, will you all please help me welcome a huge round of applause to students who are new. This is the most important aspect of our community, how we show our warmth and encouragement. Environment makes all things possible. Everyone, just as you are doing, a warm welcome, a huge round of applause for our very own Ninive. Ninive, welcome back to the stage. Thank you so much for the second presentation of self-criticism and perfectionism. Welcome to the stage. Hello, Ninive, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
I am excellent. As you can see, we are so excited to have you back on the stage. Here is your welcome. Here is your applause.
Thank you.
Ninive, let's take a moment to enjoy this. Let's take a moment to enjoy this. Everyone, please continue your huge round of applause. When you applaud one, you applaud all. When you applaud all, you're applauding community. It is a giant circle. Our community grows ever more. And the environment is what it is because each of you, thanks to each of you being your amazing selves, you all are amazing. Each of you, the most important person to be, just yourself, the most important version, the one that you are right now. It is who you are right now in this moment that brought you to where you are today. It is who you are right now in this moment who will take you to all your tomorrows. The most important person to be yourself, the most important version, the one that you are right now. By doing so, you create the amazing environment that is our learning community. Thank you so much to all of you for being just who you are. All right, everyone, join us in student presentation. You can see Ninive's first slide. Ninive, welcome back. We're so pleased to have you here. Whenever you're ready, your presentation. Thank you so much, Ninive. So great to see you back on the stage.
Thank you. So I will start. Hello, I would like to introduce my presentation about self-criticism. I choose this topic because I'm fighting with this for a long time. And after I realized self-criticism become complication in my learning. I did my research and now I want to share it. Next slide, please. Thank you. Self-criticism is our inner voice, which can be good and helpful. We can recognize our mistakes and what we need to do for improvement. But some people are too harsh on themselves. The inner critic goes way overboard. No matter what they are attempting to accomplish, these negative attitudes are always there. Next slide, please. Thank you. All these self-critical thoughts can have negative influence. Self-criticism can reduce our chances of achieving our goals. Self-critical talk can crush motivation and lead to procrastination. It can slow us down and drain our energy. Next slide, please. Thank you. Self-esteem. Self-esteem refers to a person's overall sense of self-value. It is essentially your opinion about yourself. It can encompass a range of factors such as your sense of identity, your self-confidence, feeling of competence, and feeling of belonging. It plays an important role in a variety of areas in life, which is why having low self-esteem can be such a serious problem. When you have healthy self-esteem, you tend to think positively about yourself, and when you face a challenge, you feel confident. But when you have low self-esteem, you tend to see yourself more negatively and critically, and you might talk to yourself harshly in your mind. Next slide, please. Thank you. Signs of low self-esteem: poor confidence, negative social comparison, problem asking for what you need, worry and self-doubts, trouble accepting positive feedback, negative self-talk, and fear of failure. Next slide, please. How we can boost low self-esteem. So do something that makes you feel good. Think about something you are good at. Set a small task. Spend time with people who make you feel good about yourself. Remember that everyone makes mistakes. Celebrate your accomplishments, both the big and small one. Next slide, please. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is characterized by a strive for flawlessness and setting high performance standards, which is accompanied by critical self-evaluations. Behavior commonly associated with perfectionism: critical self-evaluation, unrealistic expectation, excessive concern with mistakes and errors, self-doubts. People see perfectionism as a good thing, but it's not quite true. Perfectionism is an impossible goal. We have unrealistic expectations which we can't achieve, and that's how it leads us to self-critical talk. Next slide, please. Thank you. How to overcome self-criticism. So examine the evidence. Your thoughts aren't always true. In fact, they are often negative. It's important to examine the evidence before you believe your thoughts. Replace negative thoughts with realistic statements. Next slide, please. Don't be harsh on yourself. Practice positive self-talk. Often, when we make a mistake, we say, "I can do nothing right." Instead of this, remind yourself, "I can do better next time." Set achievable goals so that you have opportunities for success every day. Balance self-improvement with self-acceptance. There is a difference between telling yourself that you are not good enough and reminding yourself that there is room for improvement. Accept your flaws for what they are right now, while committing to improvement in the future. Next slide, please. Surround yourself with positive environment. Positive learning environment is one of the important things. In good environment, you will be more comfortable, which means it's a place where you can be supported by others without being afraid of judgment. Speak with friends. No matter what you are going through at this moment, communication with others is a way to feel you better. It's not effective when you're trying to overcome these negative feelings on your own. They are not going to simply go away just because you ignore them. But if you make the effort to talk to another person, you may be able to realize negativity that you are experiencing and feel better in the end. Don't compare yourself with others. Comparisons are often negative, and that most of the time not help. Everyone have a different strength, so there is no need to compare yourself to others. You can use their achievements as inspiration for your own life and goals. and compare yourself to who you were last week or last month. Ask yourself what advice you give to a friend. When someone else make a mistake, it's like we say, you did a great job and you will be even better next time. But when we make mistake, it's like, how dare you make mistake, you are such failure and shame on you. So we definitely shouldn't speak with yourself like that, and try speak with yourself like we will speak with friend, and encourage yourself. Next slide, please. Thank you. Self-compassion. Instead of telling yourself what you accomplished is not good enough, or worse, that you are not good enough, you have to acknowledge that you make mistakes as does everyone else, and that is fine. Things will not always turn out perfectly, nor they for others. If you are perfectionist, what you accomplish may not be according to your own standards and expectation, but it's probably quite enough, quite fantastic. Next slide, please. Now I would like to speak about myself and my self-criticism. So I was always self-critical, and my thoughts were, you did everything terribly, you are not good enough, you will never improve, you are just a disaster. So from start, I was able to handle these thoughts, but after some time it became worse and it had some consequences. So next slide, please. So I lost motivation and started procrastinating. Learning was harder and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't want to speak with others. I got anxiety and I almost gave up learning English. Okay, so that was all from consequences, and next slide now. Thank you. So what I did after my research about self-criticism, I tried to use all this knowledge I gained from everything I read. I tried to utilize this knowledge myself. So what I exactly did? So I examined all my thoughts and feelings and wrote them down. I'm terrible. I will never improve. I asked myself, why? For all these thoughts I couldn't find an answer. And I have a list of forbidden words or sentences like terrible, bad, disaster, useless, or failure. So when I did some exercise or practice English, my thoughts was always like that, and I know I shouldn't speak with myself in this way. So I tell myself I will stop. So when I think about it was terrible, I stop myself immediately and say it was fine. With practice I will be better, and next time I will be definitely better. So I try change these bad thoughts in good motivation. I express my feelings. I talk with friends and write down my thoughts and feelings. So I basically write everything across my mind. Next slide, please. Thank you. What I did next, so I wrote down everything I already achieved. From start, I really don't know what should I wrote, but somehow I wrote this. So I came up into stage. What was for me really like hard and big step, because I'm really quiet person and speaking with people it's hard for me, even in my own native language. Now I have to speak English, but I was like really afraid to speak English. So I overcome all my fears and came up into stage, and I did a few exercises there, and I can express myself more clearly and I can understand much better. I did a presentation and now I'm doing second one. I was able started writing my story, and now I have write down 2 chapters, and it's like longest thing I wrote in English. And I can speak with people, because that was really hard from start. How I said, I'm really quiet person, so I really don't speak much. I schedule my day and write down everything I did. So I can see clearly what I did. So when I have thoughts like I'm not doing enough, I just take a look at my notes so I can see what I did. So how you can see, I did a lot of writing. I think writing have a great power. It can help you understand your feelings, and you can release all your thoughts and feelings and feel better when you write them down. Next slide, please. Thank you. So some final words in the end. So don't beat yourself because you think you are not enough. It isn't helpful, it is not true, and you don't deserve it. Don't take mistakes so seriously. Realize and appreciate what you already achieved. Because you really achieved too much already, so there is no need to think about yourself harshly. So just think nice about yourself and encourage yourself. So that's probably all. So I want to encourage everyone here, don't think self-critical about yourself, you're doing great. So that's all, and last slide please. So this is end, and thank you to all, you really supportive community, you really helped me, and yeah, thank you.
Everyone, join us back in classes chat. Join us back in classes chat. A huge round of applause. A huge round of applause. That was so great. That was so amazing. A huge round of applause to students who are new. This is the most important aspect of our community, our warm, supportive environment. What a great presentation. Those of you who may be meeting Ninive for the first time are certainly finding this so amazing, so surprising. You would never expect that Ninive herself ever went through some of these struggles. What an amazing job she is doing. How far her language has come, how far her ability to present in English in front of a large group is. What an amazing accomplishment. What an amazing accomplishment. Please continue your round of applause. Ninive, take a look at this reaction. Take a look at this reaction for you. What an accomplishment. What an amazing presentation.
Thank you. I just hope you didn't hear my brother because he come here in middle of presentation.
Well, everybody is joining us for the presentation. Everybody is joining us for the presentation. Your brother is very wise indeed to want to be here as well. It is such a gift. It is such a special gift when a student shares their experiences, not just the great ones, the struggles as well. It takes such courage. And it is such a gift. It lets us know that we are doing perfectly well ourselves when we are experiencing the same things. Jaspreet had a great summary of that gift earlier in the chat when he said relatable. These items, these topics, the first presentation, motivation and stress, this presentation, self-criticism and perfectionism, is that indeed relatable. We all face these issues. Such courage, such a gift to come before us and present these important topics, and such wisdom, such great ideas. And you can see the response of your community to students who are new, This is, we can never be, there can never be enough warmth and encouragement. This is, as Jaspreet says, this is the most important aspect of our community. Okay, we are just beginning. The entire class will be on Ninive's presentation. We will now, in a few moments, we will begin the question and answer portion of our presentation. Before we do that, Niniv, will you give us a little bit more background on your amazing English learning journey? Tell us a little bit about your learning, how you've been learning English, how long you've been studying, the various methods you've used. Of course, during the question and answer, we'll expect many questions about the details of your presentation. You'll review, talk more about the wisdom, the advice, the encouragement. Tell us also a little bit about your English learning journey, how you've approached that, and how you've come so far.
So I have English in school, but that wasn't helpful. Basically, shows and movies learn me English, and when I joined the server, I started learning more actively, like reading books. I tried to do some writing, when I write down everything like I did, or I have dream diary, so I rewrite that dreams in English. So I take it practice, and it was fun in the same time. So listening, writing, and reading. That was all I did, because from start I couldn't learn too much because I had school. So basically, really active learning, it's 2 weeks back, and I do few exercise that writing, I have application and give me some words, and I try make sentences on that, or I just simply rewriting things what I experience in week and something like that.
Thank you so much for sharing that again. And everyone, go ahead and start to write your questions for Niniv into the chat. In the chat, by typing, will be your opportunity to ask Niniv about her amazing presentation, perhaps sharing your own experiences as well. Again, your questions in the chat. We'll be going through those in a few moments. So interesting to hear the experiences of our students. And Niniv, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. Again, as you can see in the chat, so relatable, such a journey that is known to all of us. Also, Niniv, the content of your presentation is so expert, so many sources of information, so many ideas. How was it that you gathered all the wisdom, all the advice, all the psychology behind self-criticism, your earlier presentation, stress and motivation? Was your learning of these technical matters from classes, from your own study? How did you accumulate all that information? What sources, what advice can you perhaps offer your fellow students as to how to gather their own information as well? And as we're doing this, again, everyone begin typing your questions in the chat for Niniv. We'll be going through those. Niniv, how did you gather all the psychology behind all this great information that you've provided in the first presentation and in this one?
So I was always interested in these things. I wanted to study that, but I didn't go there. So I did everything on my own. So I basically just reading so much articles and topic I interested. And because I'm dealing with these like self-esteem, low confidence, and self-critical stress, so I was focused in these things. So I read so much things and try pick some most important and interesting things in my presentation. So hope I did that.
Well, you certainly did. And Again, what an amazing story. What an amazing journey for those of you, as we said, for those of you who are meeting Nina for the first time. It is hard to believe, it's almost impossible to believe that Nineveh herself faced any of these hurdles. As you have heard, and you're welcome to ask her more about her individual journey. Nineveh herself went through these, and what an amazing journey, what an amazing accomplishment to build. And we do this slowly over time, step by step. Our courage, our confidence grows, in particular in our warm, supportive environment. What an amazing journey, what an amazing accomplishment. All right, little old wolf, thank you so much for starting us off. I'll be reading the questions in the chat, and I have paused my screen. I will go down the questions as we come to them. Again, go ahead, everyone, and type your questions into the chat. We'll be going through these. This is also your opportunity to perhaps share a bit of your own experiences in these important matters. Little old wolf, welcome back to class. So good to see you. Thank you for our first set of questions. Nina from Little Old Wolf, is the phrase, I could have done better, and it's so important, as Nina will be describing. So much of what we think, what we believe, comes to us from the choice of words we use. So much of our thought is a matter of the words themselves we use, the choice of words that we speak to others, the choice of words that we speak to ourselves guides our thought itself. The choice of words is so important. And Little Old Wolf asks, Little Old Wolf has 3 questions. Their first question, Nineveh, does this phrase count as positive self-talk? The phrase, I could have done better. What do you think of that phrase, and what instead of that, if you have a different suggestion, what instead of that would you suggest? The phrase, I could have done better. Does that sound like positive self-talk to you, or would you suggest changing that somehow?
Like it's about like I feel about. So if I say I could have done better and I feel bad about myself, so it's not positive. But when I say this and it motivates me, so it's positive.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Little Old Wolf, second question. What an interesting question. Is having too much, is there such a thing as too much self-esteem? Little Old Wolf, second question. Is having too much self-esteem a bad thing? In your experience, Nineveh, is that possible?
Like I have low self-esteem, so like I think like if you have everything too much, it's not really good. Like when you have self-esteem like too much, you can maybe think you are good in everything, so you will not improve. So everything have to be balanced.
That's such an important word. In all things that we do in life, we have to seek that balance. We have to seek that balance. And of course, the words themselves are so important. Thank you so much for that question, Little Old Wolf, and Nineveh the answer. And Little Old Wolf's final question. Such an insightful question. What a great question. Do you have a moment, like Little Old Wolf asked, do you have a moment like when your self-esteem is high, then the next moment it go downhill? Again, so valuable when our students have the courage to share their individual journeys, including the struggles and this experience, which so many of us feel. Nina, do you have this experience when sometimes there are moments when you have high self-esteem and then suddenly in the next moment when it goes downhill and becomes low self-esteem? Have you experienced that? And what suggestions can you offer us when that happens?
Yes, basically everything. When I'm on stage or I speaking, like sometimes I feel kind comfortable, and in 1 second it's like it going to down. So I just try like calm down myself, like everything is fine, nothing bad happen, and I can calm down when I'm back, like in that comfortable way. Anyway, it's still hard for me because this is like a long run. Especially when I really have bad experiences in past, so overcome this it's really hard and takes some time. I'm really surprised I'm able to talk right now. So like you have to realize like now it's everything right, everything be good. There is nothing bad happen you especially here in this environment. So just calm down and think positive, like you will everything do right.
Again, what an extraordinary story, and so valuable to hear. Not just Nineveh's amazing and great advice, but to know, to have that confirmation for ourselves when we hear another speak of these relatable, as Jaspreet said, these relatable experiences, to know that these are very normal when we experience them, and to hear from Nineveh, who has gone through, who continues to develop the skills to deal with these matters that are common to all of us, to hear that this continues over our entire journey. Of course, we become better and better with it over time, but to hear that important advice that it doesn't change in a moment, we continue to work with and develop these skills over our entire journey. Little O Wolf, thank you so much for starting us off with those great questions. Nina, thank you for those answers and inspiration. We move to Emma's question again. What a beautiful example of community. What a beautiful example of community. One simple, so important question, an expression of the caring, the concern that each of us feel for the entire community, that each of us feel for each other. Emma's great question, which seems like such a simple question, but in fact is such a deep, important question. Emma's question, how are you doing? This is not just a simple greeting at the beginning of the day, hello, how you're doing, but a recognition of the amazing journey of Nineveh, a recognition of the amazing accomplishment to be here in English, presenting to a large group of people, a recognition and an offering of the most important thing, warmth and support to a fellow member of the community. Emma's question, Nineveh, how are you doing? How are you doing? What is it like? How do you feel now? What's it like to have come so far, to be in front of the class, to be so successfully making this amazing presentation, to see all the great comments? And in Emma's small but huge question, Nineveh, how are you doing?
Now I feel really good and great. Like before this class presentation, I was really stressed. Like I always, it's for me hardest than last final hour. That was like longest hour in my life. But when I start presenting, I calm down somehow, and now after presentation, I feel really great. So thank for asking.
Indeed, Emma, thank you for asking. Indeed, thank you, each and every one of you, for being the special individuals you are to create. It's each of you who create this amazing environment. It's each of you by showing your warmth and support for each other, such as Emma does in this beautiful question. This warmth and support creates the environment that allows the place for each of you to so successfully pursue your English learning journey, that allows Nineveh to discover these amazing talents within herself. Thank you, Emma. Thank you to each of you for providing this amazing environment. And Nineveh, thank you. You shared in the presentation that there were times that you almost abandoned your English learning journey. Thank you so much for staying with it. Thank you so much for accomplishing what you have. Thank you for sticking with it, and congratulations for accomplishing all that you have.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Jaspreet has 3 questions. Jaspreet, thank you so much for your great questions. Jaspreet's first question, Ninav. How did you feel when you first participated on the stage? You spoke to this a little bit. Please return to this again. When we hear these experiences from others, it affirms our own, as Jaspreet himself said, relatable experiences. Nina from Jaspreet, how did you feel when you first participated on the stage?
Very, very, very afraid. Like, first I thought I will not able to speak, like, in the middle I will just turn off my laptop and never come back here again. But I deal with that somehow. I will just try to speak. I even don't remember what I was speaking. I just remember like I was really afraid because that was basically my 4th time I was trying to speak English, because in school we really don't have conversation. So before that I speak English like for 3rd time. So that was for me really stressful. But I like trying to speak and somehow I make it. But I feel really stressed and afraid, like I was shaking. My breath was so fast and I feel some pressure on my chest. So it was really hard and stressful.
It's just amazing. Again, Nina, thank you so much for your courage, for your ever-growing courage and confidence to present. It's amazing. It's almost unbelievable to hear that, where we've seen over time Nina grow in her abilities and her confidence to be able to give the original presentation, this presentation. It's almost unbelievable to hear how initially, how still there are so many of those fears that you're able to overcome. And it helps to affirm for ourselves that when we have the same experiences, we're okay. It's normal. Nina's experience stands for all of us as inspiration and motivation as to what we ourselves can accomplish. Nina, thank you so much again for sharing all of this. Jaspreet's second question: what changes did you notice after participating several times? What was that progression like? Of course, that progress doesn't occur all in one moment. We put every time in our English learning journey, we make little steps. Suddenly we find ourselves further along in our journey. What changes did you first start to notice after participating several times? How did those steps go for you?
It take a really long time. Like I was like in stage for 5th time and I was still, why I'm so stressed. But after some time, like I stopped shaking because sometimes I have problem like typing because my hands were really shaking. But after some time I stopped shaking and my breath was like normal. But I still was like stressed, like I really have problems speak and finding words, and like this problem, like it was I think like a week ago, like when I was in feedback class. So I was really calm, so that really surprised me because I really don't feel stressed. I could speak really without stress, and I think a little bit clearly, more than I'm used to. So I was surprised, like I was speaking absolutely normal and freely. So yeah, like it was really a long process. Then I'm here for, I don't know how, I think in May or April I joined the server, so it's takes some time, like 3 or 4 months.
And that's so important to know that not only does it take a long time, but each of our journeys are our own journeys. It is so important to hear the experience of others and yet to support our own individual journey in the paths that it takes, in the time that it takes. And when those sudden moments of incredible progress occurs, such as those moments that you suddenly experience that growth in confidence. Those are such special moments. We know that there continues to be hurdles ahead, but when those special moments happen, they are so wonderful and amazing. Jaspreet's third question in this section, and students are welcome to make follow-up questions as well. Jaspreet's third question, I love this question, so important. To students who are new to this journey, to students who are just starting out, perhaps to students who are at the beginning of experiencing that fear, that nervousness, that self-criticism, what advice would you have to offer to students who are at the beginning of their English learning journey or any of their lifelong journeys and are only beginning to become aware of their self-criticism? What advice would you offer to others at the beginning of their journey?
Like, they should ask for help. I really didn't ask for help from start because I'm used to dealing with things on my own, and when I'm asking for help, I'm really desperate. So I know this not quite right. So I try to ask for help. People offer me help, but I was I don't need it. But it's really good to take this help because friends and people are supportive and it can help you when you feel down. Next, okay.
Thank you so much for that. And that's such deep, such important wisdom to be able to ask for help, early, not to wait. Ninive, what advice can you offer us as to how to ask for help? And you've spoken of some of this. Who do we turn to? How do we ask for help from our friends and others? What guidance can you give us? How to go about making sure that we do and asking for help? How do we do that?
I don't know, we know that friends, and I ask hi, I have something to dealing with, so can you help me, and do you have some time, free time? But usually I didn't need to do this because people offer your help on your own. So I was just when they talk with me like this, I don't want to bother you, and there was you can bother us, so just ask and we will help you. So you basically somehow didn't have to ask. People will offer help on your own. Good friends will always offer your help.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That is so helpful. We have seen in the chat such an outpouring of support, and congratulations for Ninive, and you will all continue to have that opportunity. Just to mention one of those where I am in the chat following Jaspreet's question, Laksh's beautiful encouragement. Wow, what a great presentation, Ninive. Great ideas shared with proper explanation, and the presentation slides are way too high on quality and loaded with creativity. Wonderful, perfect, and fantastic. I'm glad I got an opportunity to attend this. Thanks a lot for sharing this fantastic psychological analysis with solution in a form of a presentation. Thanks once again. You're the best, from Laksh. Such a beautiful expression of community, the coming together, the sharing of knowledge, the support for each other. This is why in our classes we say environment is the most important thing. Laksh, thank you so much for that great encouragement and thoughts to Ninive.
Yeah, thank you. That's really nice.
Continuing down from Amini, and the questions here are as applied to the particular presentation on Nina's early presentation, Motivation and Stress, these presentations on self-criticism and perfectionism. So let's take Amini's question in that context. Are there any particular challenges having your native language at the same time that you're learning English as applies to stress and motivation, as applies to self-criticism and perfectionism? Does it become even more difficult? What particular challenges are there when at the same time you're learning a new language, when you're trying to express these things in a new language? These ideas of developing courage and confidence, these ideas of overcoming perfectionism, what particular challenges are added to that when at the same time you're learning and expressing these things in a new language?
Yeah, like when I started learning English, it was in school, and that really wasn't for me. So that was hard and complicated, and I basically didn't learn. So I learned English when I was listening. So I basically didn't realize that. That can really answer because I really don't realize I'm learning English. But I have a problem with grammar because like this is that gap between my language and English. So there is like different things. So I will put in my language that words different, and in English it's like absolutely different. So I need to think like how should write down. And there is like phrases. So like now it's for me a huge problem because I want to say something and then realize I can translate that because in English it's absolutely different. But so that's probably all, because I really don't have a problem like with that gap. It's mostly like grammar and lit phrases, and that's basically all.
That's so interesting. That is so interesting. What an interesting question. What a great answer. The realization that.
Oh yes, I remember something like. What is problem for me? For example, when I say a sentence, I was on walk. In Slovak, in my language, I don't have to say I. So sometimes in English, I forget to write these things like I, you. So I have to pay attention for this.
That's so interesting. That's so interesting that the language itself provides its own challenges in overcoming these things, and the need to translate the concepts, the words into that new language. That's so interesting. That's so interesting and important to realize at the same time. Thank you for that great question and that answer. I appreciate Jaspreet's comment. I remember saying I could have done better so many times. It used to say it very frequently in the beginning, but later I realized that I'm always doing better than before. What a brilliant, insightful comment by Jaspreet. Jaspreet, thank you so much for that. But later I realized so important to be the same warmth and encouragement we offer to others, we want to offer to ourselves in just that way. Jaspreet, thank you so much. I realize that I'm always doing better than before.
Yeah, like we actually have a little talk with Jaspreet. Like I did like a picture exercise and I spoke and write down about perfectionism. And we have a little talk about that, and I tell him like I thinking about presentation, and he say like he definitely would like to see it and I should do it. So I do it. So thank you, Jaspreet.
Community is amazing. Community is amazing. You are all experiencing that right now in this moment. You all experience that every time you are together. Ninive is describing so beautifully the experience of community over this time preparing this presentation. Community is by each of you being your amazing selves. Thank you to each of you for being your amazing selves, the perfect version of yourself just as you are right now. As Jaspreet says, the word choice matters a lot whilst doing self-talk. All right, continuing down, we have about 30 minutes left. Everyone continue in the chat to be expressing your experiences and to be asking your questions. Wheezy asks such a great question and something that may not be clear, but is so important to realize. Ninav, can you explain to us a little more? How is it that self-criticism, sometimes self-criticism becomes such a part of us, we don't even realize it's happening. We don't even realize that we're being critical of ourselves. We don't even realize how much of a negative effect it has, how much it drains so much within us. Wheezy asked this such important question. Ninav, can you explain a little more? How is it that self-criticism drains our energy? How is it that self-criticism reduces the chances of achieving our goals?
So I can try express like I feel that. So when I was self-critical, it was like I really don't want to learn, and because like when I have thoughts like I'm not doing enough, so it's not it doesn't motivate me. It was opposite. So it slowed me down, because when you still repeat you are bad, you are doing so awful, and all these thoughts, so it stop motivate you in some time. And when you're still speaking with yourself, it can drain your energy, because if you negatively speaking with yourself, it automatically can drain you, because we should think positively, and that's like feed us. It's give us energy. And when we think self-critical, we don't have that energy. I'm not sure how should I explain that better.
You explained that so well, and these fundamental things, it's so important to always return to these fundamental things. Sometimes, as we were saying, these negative ways become such a part of us that we don't even realize, So important to bring up these fundamental questions, the realization of how self-criticism itself seeps in without our realizing and starts to drain so much of our energy, affects our ability to achieve our goals. Wheezy, thank you so much for drawing our attention to the fundamental aspect of that itself, and to your great explanation, Ninav. Continuing down, Samar's great congratulations. Amazingly explained, Ninav. We should always encourage ourselves as well as others. What beautiful words from Samar. We should always encourage ourselves as well as others. Encouraging others is a very nice way to encourage our own self. It will make you feel happy and confident. Samar, thank you for your beautiful words. As we say in community, when we applaud one, we applaud all. When we applaud all, we build community. Samar, you have expressed this so beautifully. We should always encourage ourselves as well as others. Encouraging others is a very nice way to encourage our own self. It will make you feel happy and confident. Beautiful words, Samar. Thank you so much. And again, a beautiful summary from Jaspreet. The recognition of, in discussing this important topic, of sharing with all, the realization that, in fact, we are not alone. Thank you so much, Jaspreet, for that. All right, continuing down. Please continue to ask your questions and share your experiences. Shiva brings up a interesting aspect of how we share our experiences in our online community. As we all know, sharing our applause, sharing emojis, sharing words of praise and encouragement. Any thoughts? That's such an interesting aspect of this that Shiva brings up. Any thoughts on that, Ninive? How in our online community, this aspect of how we communicate our warmth and encouragement both to others and ourselves. What has been your experience? What have you learned about doing this in an online environment? How can we effectively share our warmth and encouragement to others in our community, to ourselves? What are the unique aspects of doing this in our online environment?
Um, like you have to find so good community first, and when you believe some people, you can like try to share it, because always when you share your feelings, it can help you, because like you realize all some thoughts, and sometimes it's really hard to start, and you can think you can't do it, but you have to somehow make yourself to say it, because after that you will feel better. For example, before this I joined this community. I joined few servers which are like helpful, like how should I say it? Like there is like for people who feel down, they can share your experience and people try to help them. So there is like nice chat, and you can share your feelings even in anonymity. So that's really great. Like I use that from start, but when I find this server, so I just focus on learning English and this environment. So I use this server for helping myself and speaking with people.
Thank you so much for sharing that these additional resources on in our online community, and several words for that in English. One common way that we describe those is support groups. Support groups
Yes,
exist.
that's word.
And support groups, of course, exist in our physical communities and in our online communities as well. Thank you for sharing those with us. Okay, continuing down. Thank you, Shiva, so much for bringing that topic to us. Little Old Wolf again asks such an important question. What if we know there is a time we need to be positive? From Little Old Wolf, what if there's a time that we know we need to be positive, but we all face this, but can't seem to bring yourself to think about it? Again, the gift of this presentation, the gift of sharing with each other our own hurdles. Thank you, Little Old Wolf, for your doing that. What advice, what encouragement can you offer us, Ninive? What about those times when we realize we are being so critical? We realize we need to become more positive, but we feel in that moment we just can't face it. How do we deal with those moments?
Maybe like take some break from learning or what you're doing and do something you like, so you can think about something different and boost your mood, and then go back to learning and try to keep that positive mood. And like I bring myself, like when I feel down, I still keeping saying like it will be good, and that's like I did that. But sometimes it's really hard because you can control your feelings, so that is good. You take some break and you can calm down yourself and change your ideas and focus on something else. So
Such wise advice, such experience from Ninive. Again, amazing student presentations, far beyond the opportunity to merely express and develop our English, which of course it is that, but the content of all the student presentations that we have been, and this one as well, such wisdom, such experience gained over all these years of learning about these things, dealing with these things on her own, such wisdom that Ninive is bringing to us now. And I appreciate Shiva's follow-up comment on how we express these important aspects of warmth and encouragement to others. Sometimes, as Shiva says, it is. Shiva says, I know, I feel that there is a craving to express to the outer world, to other humans, but can't find the words. So emojis. So often, language is, as we always say, language is a tool of self-expression. Language is a tool of self-expression, but words are only one aspect of that. Words came so late in the development of language. Words are just one way that we express the things within us. Long before words, hand gestures, facial gestures, long before words, was art, all the various forms of art. And what an interesting full circle that we've become. What an interesting full circle that we've become. The return to that early form of self-expression long before words, art, and now doing the same with emojis. Your experience, Shiva, in that way is so much a part of what it means to be human. So many of the deepest, most important things are beyond words. And art is one way that we express that, emojis being one example of that. Shiva, thank you so much for sharing that. All right. Let's continue. We have a little over 15 minutes left. Continuing down. As Sagana says, this is so many of our classes, but this is one of them so much more so we don't want to end. Scrolling down. Go to see. I appreciate this question so much. And of course we have, this provides an opportunity to summarize so much of your presentation. Go to C's question provides an opportunity to summarize so much of what you presented in the earlier presentation, and in this one, Go to C's question. And I appreciate Go to C's warm concern and asking this in a way that shows such consideration and concern and respect for another member of the community, in this case for you, Ninav. Go to C, so nicely asked. Can I ask? Those important words, can I ask? I appreciate that so much. It's so important to show that respect, that consideration for another. Go to C, ask. Ninav, can I ask, have you ever doubted about yourself? Have you ever doubted yourself? What did you do to overcome that? Of course, so much of your presentation went into such detail about that. This is a great opportunity to summarize your thoughts on the key points of both the first presentation, motivation and stress, and this presentation on self-criticism and perfectionism. Can you talk about that summary of what it was like when you first came to doubt yourself and how you've been overcoming that? Go to C's great question gives us the opportunity to hear your summary of your advice and your experiences.
Yeah, so basically I doubt about myself every time. It's like better now because I listen others because they were always like, you're doing fine. So I start listening them. And I have to be comfortable with myself and with my English because I couldn't listen myself on record, but now I can, so I slowly say myself like people are saying you are fine, you're doing great, so it's probably true, so value them. And always when I have the thoughts, like I remember like what people were saying to me and try use that to overcome these thoughts.
Thank you so much, Go to C, for that wonderful opportunity, for that great answer, Ninav. Thank you to you both. Laksh has a follow-up question. Such an important, such a beautiful beautiful question. Sometimes, Locke says, we feel frustrated not due to self-criticism, but due to so much effort we put in. Often we put in so much effort and yet we feel we're not getting any results. Is there something that you've tried, Niniv, Locke asks, that didn't result, that didn't pay off, that didn't have results until a long time later? And Locke asks, how do you trust yourself? How can you learn to trust yourself that in time those efforts will result in what we hope for?
Yeah, so basically it was everything with English because I thought like nobody will understand me. Everything I saying it's wrong. So basically everything with English. I start to do some like really little exercise, so I can achieve them pretty quickly. Like I start working with short stories, so I feel a little better when I did I don't know 3 stories per day and do some exercises, so I feel I'm doing something, so I have to be better now. And use other people's, because like I have friend, I always share my recording when I reading, so she give me feedback and like that helps me, because she always saying like I was fine, I'm always better and better. So I'm trying to remember that. So I set small tasks which I could achieve, so I have feel like I'm doing something, and it helps me like see some result, because I really don't see them. Basically, I didn't see them just few weeks ago. I think I still see myself a little bit critical, but I'm trying to change it in positive way, and I think I'm doing quite fine, because I'm done saying myself it was terrible, but it's still like it was fine. So yes. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so like it's really hard for me to trust myself, but I'm just trying do that somehow. I really don't have what should I say, because I can say myself now you will stop thinking like this. So when you will think like this, say to yourself stop and say I'm doing fine, so don't think like this. So you make some improvement, even you don't see that, because others people it's saying to you always, so you make improvement and believe in them and believe in yourself.
Again, such brilliant wisdom. Two more, again, two important aspects that Nina just described so beautifully, so well. Relying on others, turning to others for help. Sometimes we cannot, as Nina saw, we can't see, we can't experience. We don't see the progress that we're making. Relying on others to help us see more clearly the great progress, the great little steps that we're making. And as Nina said, to attempt little steps, to realize that the journey is one of so many little steps, to set goals that are attainable, goals that we can reach. Again, such wisdom, such brilliant advice. Locke, thank you so much for that question, and Nina for your answers. All right, we're coming to the end. That's it for the questions. There's still a few minutes left for those of you who might have some questions. We did something a little different in the earlier presentation, and I'd like to do that with just one individual. We had the opportunity to visit with a few special members of the community at the earlier presentation. We visited with Nagam, and we visited with Kvit, and we visited with Venus, and that was so great. They each shared a little bit of their experiences and their encouragement to the community. We've had a special member in the class during this session. I'd like to recognize Sagana. I would like to recognize Sagana. Sagana, if you would be so kind as to raise your hand. Sagana has always been such a source of inspiration and motivation and support to so many. I'd like to recognize Sagana, who offered so much, as always, encouragement to others in the chat and so much support to Ninive as she put her presentation together. I'd like to offer this opportunity to Sagana and then also to Jasprit. We only have time for a few, but again, Jasprit, who also assisted Ninive in the preparation of this. If each of you would raise your hand, I would love for the opportunity for you to share your experiences. Let's start with Jasprit and then Sagana. Do please raise your hand. We would love to hear from you by voice as well. Jasprit, thank you so much for your amazing participation, for your being such an important part of our community, and for the support that you offer to so many, and to Ninive as she put her presentation together. Hi, Jasprit. Wanted to give you a chance to share your experiences of working with Ninive, your experiences of overcoming these important topics. Hi, Jasprit. Welcome to the stage.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you for having me here, and I can relate very well to Ninive because I have gone through the same phase. In the beginning, I was like I might have told you before that I used to get nervous just by raising my hand, and from that to like like when I first participated, I spoke very fast, and I could not even think about what I'm gonna say. And after participating several times, I actually built my confidence. Even though, like in the beginning, when I used to participate on the stage, I felt like I could have done better, and I used to criticize myself. But since I told you in the chat that I later realized after going through my journey, like you mentioned that, like looking back at the mountain or the journey after going to some like at a spot or a milestone, we look back at our journey and we see that how far we have come, and that is what I did, and I actually noticed that the progress is very much as compared to like when I was looking at the mountain. So it was a great journey in the beginning, and I'm still continuing it.
Jasprit, thank you so much for that. And Jasprit, stay right where you are. I want to have Sagana join us. I note in the chat that her battery is not going to give us much time. While we have time, Jasprit, stay right where you are. Sagana, come on up to the stage while there is still charge there. Sagana, thank you so much. You are such a source of inspiration and motivation to so many. I wanted to give you a chance by voice to offer your encouragement, inspiration, motivation to the class, and your congratulations to Ninive. Sometimes Discord does this. Sagana is trying to connect. I see Sagana trying to disconnect, mute and unmute her phone. I know Sagana is going to try and disconnect and reconnect. I want to see if Sagana can do this while she still has battery available. While we're waiting for Sagana to reconnect. Sagana's going to work on that. Jasprit, thank you so much for sharing your story. And Jasprit, I wanted to give you a chance to offer your congratulations directly to Ninive.
Congratulations, Ninive. Like I'm very happy for your journey, and you are a great source of inspiration. And I feel like I have to do a presentation now. And I this environment is so great that it actually brought whatever I had inside myself. It allowed me to express myself freely because I freed my mind from the idea of judgment. I knew that I'm not gonna get judged, So I expressed myself freely, and that is what brought a great version of myself that I had never thought existed. In the example, for example, the poem that I spoke on the stage for the first time, that was also because I knew that I'm not gonna get judged, and yeah, that was a great experience in my opinion.
Ninav, I want to give you a chance to express your thanks to Jaspreet. What an amazing thing. Everyone, what an amazing thing of community. Um, the struggles that Ninav faced, that Ninav successfully went through, look at what that has brought about. Those struggles themselves has resulted in another individual, another human being, the struggles that Nineveh faced, how Nineveh dealt with those, have resulted in giving to another person, another human being, the courage to develop that confidence themselves, to want to do a presentation. What a beautiful thing, what an amazing part of environment. I want to give you both a chance to continue that in a moment. But let's see, Sagana, did you get the microphone? How is the microphone doing,
Hello?
Sagana?
I
Hi,
think it's
welcome.
working
Hello.
now.
Hi,
Hello?
Sagana. Let me turn right over to you while you have charge available. Sagana, you provide so much motivation and support to so many. I want to give you the opportunity to offer your congratulations to Ninive.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank Ninive for this epic presentation, which is such important for our family. That on her work, I think the most important lesson that I've learned in any situation of my life, especially English, is that you have to believe in yourself, or even nobody will for you. So when you try to take care of yourself, your flaws, your achievement, your qualities, these uh, these will help you in any situation in your life. So, and I think when you look at yourself in a kind way and with a positive perspective, everything will be fine in the end. Like your goals, your problems, you're gonna solve like with the patient as time passed by. And I think that's it. And so thank you, Amiga, for this amazing presentation. And it's 5 a.m. and I have 5% of battery, but I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you too. Like you helped me too when we speak about this. So thank you. You're really great support and friend.
Yes, we have like so many conversations in private about your presentation, and it was something like really how can I say that in English? Um, it helped me as a human being, such an important topic. Proud of you.
Thank you.
What?
But I have to say,
Go ahead.
because something happened, I have to end soon. So I'm really sorry.
Everyone, Jaspreet Sagana, thank you so much. We'll go ahead and wrap up to help Ninive with that. Jaspreet Sagana, thank you so much for joining us on stage. Thank you so much for your participation, for your help to Ninive, for your great participation and building of community. Jaspreet and Sagana, thank you so much for everything that you do.
Yes, sir. There's one thing I would like to say before going. That is like each person is a ray of light for others, and we all light up each other's world, and that is how we move forward in life.
So
Each
beautiful,
person is a ray of hope.
So beautiful, Jaspreet. Thank you so much. Sagana,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you. You're welcome. Jasprit, Sagana, thank you so much. Go ahead and jump back to the audience.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Sagana.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Niniv, I know you have to go very
Yes.
quickly. Your final thoughts to the community, to the class, your final thoughts.
Yes, like this is really great. Without this great community and teachers here, I wouldn't able to speak English. So yes, thank you. And you don't have to be afraid to come here or on the stage and try exercise or speak with persons. It's really nice here. So try it. You will be definitely feel good about yourself when you try it. And one like, if something you want to ask, my DMs are open, so you can ask.
What a great gift, what a great invitation. Niniv, thank you so much. I know, Niniv, you have to go. Go ahead and jump back to the audience, and we will very quickly close the class. Niniv, what an amazing gift. What an amazing gift. Thank you so much. Niniv has to go, so very quickly, everyone. What an amazing presentation. What a great gift. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being who you are. Very quick traditional end. Everyone take a look at the Notion page for the upcoming schedule. Open question and answer over the weekend. In the bottom of the chat, bye-bye just for now to everyone. Sagana, thank you so much.